Hey Spuds, how's it going? Thank you for clicking on this video. For those of you who watch my videos and know about my relationship, do not panic. We're still getting married. This is just about why I would not / could not get married right now, or like in the next week or month. Maybe 2 months, or even 3 months. This is about why I couldn't get married this year. My partner, Shara, and I have our wedding booked for next year, like late summer, autumn time. And I'm very excited. We're both very excited. We are like knee deep in planning. We're getting there. We're getting to the serious planning stage. It's all going well, but because I am transgender, I was assigned female at birth. I'm a transgender man. There is like an extra little complicated step with getting married. As if getting married wasn't like stressful, and just there's so much to getting married. I never knew this, but when you're trans, in the UK at least, there's this extra step, unless you do it earlier, which I haven't. I'm babbling. I will explain everything, don't worry. And you know, this extra step is just the teeny tiny, practically insignificant detail of getting married as a man and not a woman. It's no biggie really. Just in case, I want to clarify, it is a major detail and very much a huge biggie to get married as a woman and not a man for myself. Yes, but I'm working to fix that. In the UK, there is the Gender Recognition Act of 2004, and what this Act allows is for transgender people to be legally recognised as the sex that matches their gender identity. So for me, that would be being legally recognised as male in terms of my sex. Fantastic, brilliant, great, thank you very much. But what you need for this process to happen is something called a Gender Recognition Certificate, or GRC for short. A GRC means that you are now legally recognised as male if you're a trans man, or female if you're a trans woman, and allows you to get a new birth certificate with all the details updated. Name, sex, that kind of thing. I don't think there'll be any other details updated other than that. You can update your birth certificate basically. If you don't have a gender recognition certificate, but you go ahead and get yourself wedded anyway, which if that's what people want to do, no judging, but that would mean you would be married in terms of your birth sex, not your current gender identity and everything. So I would be married as a woman, and that makes me feel very uncomfortable. And it's also stated, well, I've done a lot of reading about this, that it is a legal requirement for the person who is marrying you, the official person, I don't know what they're called, I think the name of the person marrying you depends on what type of ceremony you're having and where and there, I don't know. The person who marries you would legally have to state your birth sex when wedding you. For a trans man, you would be referred to as wife. I'm sure we can all recognise why that might be a little bit uncomfortable. And you know, that happens even if all of your other documents are changed. Like for me, it is literally just my birth certificate that has not been changed, and that would still happen for me. And like on one hand, I kind of understand with the whole like identity fraud and all of this stuff and having to be careful, but on the other hand, it's very frustrating. So in order to make sure that that doesn't happen, I have had to apply for my gender recognition certificate. I should just say GRC because gender recognition certificate is a mouthful and I just messed it up. Anyway, I can't even remember where I was because that was just such a lengthy explanation about how I couldn't say the words. But yes, I don't have a GRC, and I've literally sent off my application for one today, so hopefully I will hear back by the end of the year about whether it's been accepted or not. But the reason why this video is called Why I Can't Get Married Right Now is because I feel like I can't get married right now until I have the legal documentation, meaning I can get married as who I actually am and not have the incorrect pronouns or terminology used for me and not have the incorrect things recorded down on like the legal marriage stuff. So yeah, until the GRC comes through, I would not get married. And the reason why I have left it until now is that there's two main reasons. The first reason is that the whole process of getting a GRC is very lengthy, it costs money, and it feels very invasive. I think that was technically 3 reasons, but they're kind of like all within the same thing. It's just a very awkward and odd process, or I feel it is anyway. Number 2, there's been no reason for me to change my birth certificate up until now. I was kind of hoping there would have been a reform of the Gender Recognition Act by now, because it has been discussed for quite a while that there would be some kind of update to the process, making it a bit easier, less invasive, blah 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 blah, but it's not happened in time, so I'm having to go through the current process, which is fine. It's fine. I was kind of trying to put it off a bit, but it has to be done now. And I think going back to why I haven't done it already is there's a lot of layers and processes involved with applying for a GRC. And I tried applying several years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, but I got stuck on one certain aspect of the application. There is a cost that I couldn't really afford, and I didn't understand the process for getting like exemptions for not paying and stuff like that. And I had no plans to get married soon and no real need or urgent need to change my birth certificate, so I just left the application. I didn't do it. But now I have no choice but to apply for it. Getting married, it's all booked. I want to get married. I'm very excited about it, but I want to get married right. What I'm not excited about is the whole process of like a bunch of strangers like sifting through all these documents and personal stuff that I've had to send them and literally make a decision about whether I'm telling the truth or not. And I have paid £140 for the pleasure of that being done. I know it sounds like I'm bitching, like it's the worst thing in the world. I know it's not, and I am very grateful that there is the act in place that allows this to happen anyway. Like, you know, prior to 2004, this was not a possibility. So I'm very grateful for it being a possibility, but the process is odd. Like, there's just certain aspects of it that are like, really? Briefly, to kind of put into context why it feels so invasive, here are some of the documents I've had to supply. And I've written them down so I remember them, so sorry if I'm like looking off camera lens, although I don't really look at it much anyway, I'm sorry. Fill in the form. It's like a chunky form, it's not too difficult. I think it's more complicated if you've been married in the past, but if you've never been married, it isn't that complicated. It's just details about you, your birth, stuff like that. Might be a bit uncomfortable because you have to write down your birth name and stuff like that, but it's just general details about yourself. Number 2 is my full original birth certificate, which my parents had to hunt out for me. I didn't really want to look at it, but it's included. That's done. Evidence from when I first started transitioning, so things like my name change, letters that are in my name and addressed to me back from when I started transitioning, and then evidence from at least the past 2 years to show like consistency in the use of your name and your role in society and everything like that. 2 medical reports. One has to be from a medical professional who specializes in gender stuff. So the most common person to ask would be a doctor that you see at a gender clinic. I was at a private gender clinic at the time I first started doing this application, so I paid, because it was a private clinic, I paid the doctor there to write me a medical report for the process, and he did, and I still have it, and that's the one I've used now, and I hope it's okay to use one that's a few years old, because I'm now not registered at any gender clinic. I've been discharged from the NHS one. The private one I went to is shut down and he no longer practices, so if they don't accept that, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. Anyway, it's in there, and so is medical report B. You need 2 medical reports, one from a specialist and then one just from another medical professional. Most common to use is your general practitioner or GP. It's just like the local doctor in the UK. My local doctor at the time, she wrote me another medical report. She's now retired, so if that needs updating, that's also going to be difficult. But anyway, I have that. And then the thing that got me stuck last time is called a statutory declaration. I cannot even say it properly. Why is it so difficult? Statutory declaration. And it's basically like an oath that you swear that all the information is correct. You are now going to live permanently as the gender you identify as, and you have been living as that gender for X amount of time, and you have to write how long it's been. And then that declaration needs to be witnessed and signed by somebody who is qualified to do so. The most common person is a solicitor. So I was at the solicitors this morning getting that witnessed. It was a thing that like 5 years ago, I could not find a template. I found a template for it this time around, and the solicitor said the template was good to use and it was all fine. 5 years ago, I could not find a template, and I had no idea how to word it correctly or how I could get it written up, and that's where I got very stuck. It's done now, and the solicitor was lovely. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit nervous going in because it's very obvious what the process is and that you're a transgender person getting this done so that you can change your birth certificate. And I don't know, I guess there's always the worry of like, are people just gonna be a bit arseholey? But yeah, the solicitor who witnessed mine was absolutely lovely, and even said that they recognized me from TV, which made me cringe. It's not their fault, I just cringe at stuff like that anyway. I'm just like, oh no. And then just a bunch of other evidence, and then you have to tell them what evidence that you sent in and tick all these boxes and blah blah blah. And I sent it away today. It's gone, it's done. Fingers crossed for me that it's all good news. I don't know what I'm gonna do if it gets rejected. The wedding will just have to turn into a very expensive party. I don't even want to joke about that. No, it's not gonna happen. It'll be accepted, it'll be fine. There is literally no reason for them to reject it. I will kick up a fuss if it's rejected. It won't be. It's gonna be fine. I'm really nervous about this, and I don't know why. Like, this feels like a very big deal. I'm excited, nervous, but like also just please let it get accepted and just go smoothly. Anyway, that's why I can't/won't get married right now, but like I am getting married next year, as long as this application goes well. Yeah, I really want to get married to Charlotte in the right way as husband and wife, because that's what we're gonna be. So this application was something that I had to do, so I did it. Leave any questions you have below if this is something that you're going through or looking into going through, and I will do my best to answer them. I don't have all the answers, but I do know some stuff. I know more than I did a few years ago. And yeah, I hope this could help you out a bit if you're in the UK and you're looking at getting a GRC, or or if you just wanted to learn more about the process of being trans and legal stuff surrounding being trans and everything, let me know what the process is like where you live, because I'm sure this is fairly UK specific. Like, what's it like if you're getting married as a trans person, like in America? Does it differ between the states? I don't know. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please keep your fingers crossed that this application goes well. I will keep you updated. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.